Okay, so today let's talk about art style. I know that's a big topic among the art community. Everybody's trying to find theirs. It's kind of this gold rush situation. People take years and years and years and they still can't find it. And I want to go ahead and talk about that today. At the moment, it would be hard to describe what I put out as an art style for me personally, but others would argue differently. I think that's one of the main facets of art style, is sometimes you can't even tell that you have it, even though you do. And that's why being in a rush to look for it and just trying to find it can sometimes just be useless, or at least feel that way. In my experience, which to be fair isn't a lot, finding your art style is kind of just a very naturally just slow process as you grow in skill and you take things that you like from other artists and implement it into your own works. The type of art that I have made has definitely changed throughout the years. I used to do sketches without using any color, to doing very heavy line art with pops of color, and even had like the stage where I would use very, very bright colors. And now it's more of, like a painterly kind of style, I'd say, that just uses what feels natural to me. I think that there's mainly three facets in which I implemented into my style that made it into what it is today. Number one being form and process is probably the main thing that comes most naturally to artists. With every piece that you do, your process gets more efficient in different varying ways. As I said before, I used to use very heavy line art and just kind of like poppy colors. And I did that for a very long time. And it never left me fully satisfied with my works. And that was until one day things just started to click for me. I was trying something new. It was like one of my goals at the moment. I wanted to branch out and do something a bit painterly. I've been seeing a few different, painterly type artists on Instagram, and I really wanted to replicate that. So I observed what they did and tried my best to implement it into my art. There were honestly quite a few attempts to do this until I got to a point where I was really, really satisfied with what I had made. And the main thing that really helped that along was I realized that I needed to stop thinking in lines, and I needed to start thinking in shapes. I'm sure if you've looked up, art advice or asked anybody, they'll tell you time and time again, it's all about shapes. The entirety of the human anatomy is just shapes. It's literally just shapes. And I knew that, and I tried to implement it, just like never in the way that I needed to personally. I would spend my time making character skeletons and physically just drawing out the shapes, when what I needed to do was sculpt them out and find them in the figure itself. Once I figured that out, I really, really started making just banger after banger after banger, and I was just really satisfied with my works. At the time, they were the best thing that I had ever produced. But I still felt like something wasn't quite right, which led me to my second thing. Tone in art is sometimes pretty hard to identify, especially if you don't really know how to express your feelings and how to project them into your art. Growing up, I was never really into horror. Like, it just wasn't really something that was popular in my household, with having little siblings and all that. It just wasn't really all that present. Even now, I don't really have too much exposure to that genre, but for some reason, one day it just kind of called out for me. I'm sure almost everybody by now is at least aware of the existence of Chainsaw Man. Very popular manga, now, shown in anime. I think it was around 2020 when I started reading it and really getting into the fandom. I was a huge fan of anything Chainsaw Man. But it didn't really affect my art the way it did until after the anime came out, and you would just see all the Makima, horror art, and I don't know, something in my brain just clicked, and it made me want to do it too. So one after another, I just kept on making Makima pieces, just like the dark and like mysterious, always had those eyes present type of thing. And it made me realize how much I really enjoyed having that kind of tone in my art. Once I had that down pat, I could not stop. I've probably got at least 15 pieces of Makima horror art now. It's crazy. And it completely changed the way I painted things. I started thinking about more the story rather than the painting itself. And I think that's a mentality a lot of people miss when they think about their art style. I mean, the most obvious example of this is, somebody that uses a lot of bright colors typically will be associated with feelings like excitement and happiness, while somebody that uses very muted colors, dark colors, may be associated with either something scary or maybe even something depressive. I can't say that I'm the most optimistic person on the planet, so doing all that bright stuff, it never fully satisfied me because it didn't just really resonate with me all that well. It was only when I started using more muted colors, or at least a darker tone, that helped me personally resonate with my own art, which really just kind of helped me come into my own. Of course, I still had inspirations from other artists, which is very important when it comes to art style, which leads me to my next topic. Implementing things that you see from other artists into your style is definitely another important step to finding your art style. But you need to do it the correct way. I think tracing has become a pretty vague term, at which time it's okay to use it and when it's not. When you're publicly showing off your work and displaying it as your own, that's not the time to trace. But when you're trying to study somebody and maybe eventually implement their own ideas and maybe little techniques that they do into your own work, then it might be called for. It helps you learn. That's what it's there for. It's not there to show off as your own work, though. That's just not cool. And unfortunately, I see that a lot. And it's a little concerning, especially with the big, AI problem that we've got right now and the controversy surrounding it. It's, I really don't think it's smart to add fuel to the fire. So looking at somebody's work and saying, oh, that's really cool, I really like how they did this, maybe I should try it too. That's cool. Put it in your own work. Maybe try the techniques that they use. Just don't trace with the intent to post it as your own public idea. That's just not cool. If you made it this far through the video, I just do want to say thank you. Making videos isn't exactly my strong suit yet. I'm still trying to get better, and it honestly just feels like a bunch of rambling to me right now. If this helped you out in any kind of sort of way to find your art style, if you were even lost to begin with, that's amazing. I really hope it does. And I just want to wish you guys luck, because I know that journey is a long one and a very stressful one at that. If you'd like to stick around, I'd be eternally grateful. I'm just trying to show my journey from start to finish. Even the parts that most artists don't want to show or like to show. Either way, this is only the beginning for both you and me. Till then, have a great day.